Welcome back to the channel. It's LukeTheDuke and it's Friday and time to answer the call for ARK news. Now, Wildcard has published Community Crunch number 372, which means it is time to find out which community creature will be the newest addition to Aberration. And by the way, this one was very close, right down to the final rounds of voting. There's also a bit of ARK Switch Dino Discovery news, and as usual, we've got some late-breaking community shenanigans to discuss because it wouldn't be an ARK video without it. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. I've included chapters for ease of viewing, and here we go. First up is the ARK Survival Ascended Community Creature vote results, and the winner is Yi-Chi, which despite its appearance is a glider and not a flyer. Now, our ARK version has been modified to a bloody wing variant featuring razor feathers and quills that it shoots at its victims, causing a special kind of bleed. And while the bleed does no damage, it's a mark signaling how many feathers have carved the flesh of the victim. Then, this creature can trigger the mark, dealing devastating damage. So that's really quite interesting. It's a damage stacking mark that is then triggered and unleashes the full effect of the damage stacks all at once. Now, according to the dossier, this barrage is called the Eviscerate attack, meaning to disembowel. And yeah, I would not want to be around this thing when it triggers that damage stack, as this could get really messy for its targets. According to the dossier, Yi-Chi is described as a glass cannon, built for speed, maneuverability, and huge damage output, but at the expense of defense. The higher the melee stats your Yi-Chi has, the more quills it can shoot, and the more stamina, the faster it will create additional feathers, possibly pushing players towards leveling your Yi for full damage one-shot builds. So it's really designed for glass cannon use. For example, it can coat them with narcotics or biotoxins to use its feathers as an alternative method to using tranks with a crossbow or rifle. And finally, Yi-Chi has a tech saddle, but one that does not act as offensive. Instead, it stabilizes its dashes and makes them even more maneuverable, as well as having an ability that blocks incoming attacks for half a second after activation. As you start to take a look at the live voting, you can see that Yi-Chi was actually in third place in rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4, falling behind the Mevia Eureka and Chimera Arachne. Round 5 saw it jumping into second place within a few hundred votes of the Chimera, where it stayed until round 8 when it eventually pulled ahead of the Mevia Eureka and scored its final victory. Next up for creature submissions is the Center, which consists of multiple climatic and geological regions, including several that are not featured on the Vanilla Island map. The map's most notable feature, a giant floating island, can be found on the western side of the map, surrounded by dangerous swamps. So, if you are interested in getting in a creature submission for this one, make sure it fits within the structure of creatures for the island. Next up, and per usual with these weekly Community Crunch posts, expect a weekend Evo event starting today. Nothing out of the ordinary here. 2 times harvesting on official, 4.5 times on small tribe servers, and 5 times on Arkpocalypse and Conquest. And again, for the, I honestly don't know, as I've forgotten, what is it, 3rd, 4th, 5th week? Yeah, no ARK Survival Ascended news outside of the creature winner, so no ARK 2 news, no ASA news, no assets, no photos, no in-game footage, zero, zilch, nada about anything related to the future of ARK. And finishing up Community Crunch news, we have a 75% off sale on Switch's ARK Dino Discovery up until August the 13th, which with that current discount is currently sitting at $2.49 USD. So at 75% off, what? It must be normally retailing at $10. And all of this is set in a low-pressure, kid-friendly, dino fact-filled adventure where you get to ride on a real T-Rex, fly on a Terra, and explore the oceans on a Meg. I wonder if Dino Discovery has ever had any hacker issues. Now that would be a real story. Someone's kid is playing on their Switch, and then they're just like aim-botted and rapid-fired off of their tame and wiped. I know, it's not multiplayer, and that could never happen, but still, that would be an epic headline.
And now for something completely different.
And speaking of epic headlines, what a perfect transition, right? It's almost like I know what I'm doing here. Just a few hours prior to this Community Crunch going live, we got the most hypocritical tweet in the history of hypocritical tweets, coming from all places. Wait for it. Snail Games USA. So when I saw this one hit Twitter, my antenna just instantly flew up, followed by uncontrollable laughter. Here's how it reads, and keep in mind the source that posted it. Ark Enforcement's main mission, safeguarding our community from cheaters and hackers, ! Hashtag gaming, hashtag community protection. What? Hashtag Ark, hashtag play Ark. And I've got to say that I really like the use of these emojis here as well. You've got the lock and the shield, as if those will do more to create a sense of calm and protection, considering the source that it's coming from, Snail Games. Also, hopefully you can see the video as well, because the text that keeps flying across the screen is priceless here. Shout out to Ark Enforcement for sweeping away those bad hackers and cheaters. No duping on our watch. Play now, ! I mean, what the actual fuck is this nonsense? Of all things to say, and of all the sources to say it, this is what Snail Games, the company that has run a ring of corruption around their beloved Ark title and banned all those players and continues to do so for being better than them, this is what Snail Games has chosen to post. Anyways, I'm going to leave a link to this tweet in the video description, and you need to go over there and check it out, even if you don't post and you're not a Twitter person, because reading the comments to this one will put a smile on your face. And it reads like a who's who of Ark royalty in there, me excluded. I mean, I posted, but I'm not on that level of Arkness. Anyways, I don't know who over at Snail thought this one was a good idea. And another thing before I move off of this, did someone not check this one over for like basic things? Like, does it look somewhat professional? I mean, that's all I'm going to say on that. It just looks really janky and low effort, exactly like the group that posted it. And finally, I've got a bit of Ark community news for you. And since I do report on this, I receive all sorts of personal and group gripes with Wildcard and with Snail. You know, I wish I didn't, as in, hopefully one day the community forums and conquest PvP areas will actually be a place of enlightenment and fair play. I know it sounds corny, but until that happens, we can hope, right? Here's one from a player that plays Ark religiously. Seriously, it says so in their Twitter profile. And Mad Hatter 86 took to the Ark community forums posting their feelings about Snail, posting their feelings about ASA, and then they named the T tribe and the corruption behind them. Now, since they named T by name, that earned them a warning of 4 points. And by the way, if you hit 30 points in violations, you were given a 30-day vacation, or at least that's how it was explained to me. Anyways, Mad Hatter took the 4 points, his first ever warning, and then before posting again was hit with a full 30-point violation, apparently with no warning. But wait, because as near as I can tell, Mad Hatter was then reinstated, came back, posted again, this time not posting T-Tribe, so no naming and no shaming, and they got another 6-day vacation. So, if you're over there on the Ark community forums, the very mention of T is participation suicide. Now, I personally don't take the time to look that area of Ark over. I mean, there's nothing I need to see over there. And I understand the forum guidelines are not to name and shame, but come on, with T, there is nothing but shame. Moving from solo to groups, and I also got a DM from a very interesting spelling here. It's CA+, so I assume that's cat, explaining that earlier this month, their tribe headed over to server 81 to raid a tribe that turned out to be affiliated with T. Apparently they didn't know. A day later, every member of the tribe that participated in that raid was banned, so about 20 to 25 members. Now, after multiple messages to Conquest GMs, they were given the reason of meshing. Cat expressed concerns that this wasn't a big enough deal to report on, since it wasn't as glamorous as that 90-plus Island Boys mass ban fiasco stuff, and there was no actual footage taken during this raid. Now, I did not reach out to Cat for further comment, and I cannot verify the story for myself, but perhaps anyone that was involved in that raid and subsequent ban can elaborate a bit more in the comment section below. We're really interested to hear what you have to say. And there you go. That's it for today. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. All my socials can be found in the video description. Shout out to the nearly 129,000 of you that have taken the leap and hit subscribe. And a huge thanks goes out to my patrons over on Patreon. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.